오야 치료 강가다시 데레 다 드링안조 드니 오다 대시 그게 대시 벌써 저번 유이 그랬더니 젠다고 젠다고 쪼쪼 가리면 다 쪼된다는 농게 세세 발라 다 세게 놀는다 만다 뭐야 이제 되는 요아쇼 가르제 하고서 와서 오다 대돈 된일랬더니 신주 첨보가 같이 뭐 던지지 다 쇼로 같이 베시 돈을 봐 가서 듣는 시작이 있어.
So then today I would like to offer greetings to all of my Dharma friends, Tashidele as usual, and also today I would like to speak a little bit about developing a lasting happiness, what the source of that lasting happiness is. And of course the source is the mind. And so when we speak of minds, there are many different types of minds that we need to cultivate. So I will seek to help to identify the best type of minds we can develop and speak about how to do that. And connected with this, I will also give some explanation of verses from the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, the Bodhisattva's way of life.
오다 저로서이나 인데니 기이나 다는 치테마 소속 가르치는 로 하고서라스 어떤 때 되게 된다 가르치래게 된다 가른데 따나 아니 실론 주의인들의 요한도의 인들의 때인데 표도 자체 뭐야레스.
So then for all of you, when you hear the verses from the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, listen carefully and then in your own time look over those carefully. Contemplate the meaning carefully. On this basis, you can understand the meaning and receive the blessings of the text and also use that in order to transform the mind.
오다 중요한 솔로같이 되게 제한지 간데스리아서나 가와타마라 군제바이 통원노진더니 편바지 너는 체메시 소노지 대조 del라니도 토바시 소다티 솔로같이 달레비까지 뭐래.
So the verse that I'm going to speak on today, which is one of the very important shlokas or verses of the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, it goes like this. All the Buddhas who contemplated for many aeons have seen it to be beneficial, for by it the limitless masses of beings will quickly attain the state of supreme bliss.
지소와 가와타마라 군제바이 통원노진더니 편바지 세르다시고 돈바쇼 수지도 쇼니 선바소가 가와몬볼 갈레잔네라 다 세노로 세야가 가르렌도 누가 가르렌도 밥 내와서 세 가르렌도 치드게 세 가르렌도 아고서라 왔더니 또제 뭐 진네라 다 세야쇼 롱게 되면 타숑바 연제 되면 타숑바 더더 세야쇼 때 니깔라기바 타둘라기바 저게 세야쇼 때 가르렌도 요새 다 제소게 될 좀바도니 이제 자와집이 좀주지 셈세하들 여가지로 하야만.
So to speak on the meaning of the first two lines of the shloka of the verse, all the Buddhas who contemplated for many eons have seen it to be beneficial. This is speaking about the holy beings investigating what types of minds are the most beneficial to cultivate. The type of minds that when we bring them forth, they help not only us to achieve welfare, but they also help us to achieve the welfare of others. The types of minds which are going to give the best causes for both temporary and ultimate happiness. And having investigated this matter for a very long period of time, they found that the very best mind to bring forth for this purpose was the mind of bodhicitta, the wish for enlightenment, rooted in love and compassion.
오다 노지 그룹에 다 가르세가 다 치세나면 된리가 돈을 킬로주 체크 이나는 다 좀바도니 지자와집에 전주지 세드 간디세전도 호텔 돈을 되는 적인데 왔어. 대면에 다 치게 제시라면 봐지 노지 무슨노를 세야가 손을 두기지나 좀바도니 진걸 손을 두야나.
So then if we are approaching this discussion from the point of view of somebody with an interest in the Dharma, somebody who wants to study and practice, then we look at the mind of bodhicitta, rooted in love and compassion, and we think, what is that mind like? How do I develop it? But if we are somebody who maybe is not oriented as a Dharma practitioner, but is just looking to improve our daily life, to live a happier life, then certainly the causes of bodhicitta, love and compassion in particular, are something that can help us to improve our daily lives.
어떤 가정인의 지는 든딜로 돈을 제네 세 쇼바도니지 자와집에 전주지 세 가르로 돈을 제바이나 단단히 떼서 버게 좋아요 봐 시에토나 니만의 소설을 끼워
So if we are really able to engage in these minds of love and compassion and also develop the bodhicitta that is rooted in that love and compassion, if we are able to pay a little bit of attention to developing these minds, what we will find is that from day to day, slowly we come to an improvement. And as we develop these minds of love and compassion, we will come to a point where happiness and its causes fall like rain.
오다 알까 계자 갈래 와스 동보치 동보테니 까와토마 라군제바이 통노진드니 펜바지 세다 소속기 바 예르 펜바데야 텔 세텔 까오모모 알레 로치니케 자마레스 까오모모 티세프라 할레베 모모실 코르스타제체네라 오다탄데 로바레스.
So in terms of these first two lines of the verse, all the Buddhas who contemplated for many eons, having seen it to be beneficial, we understand that this is not a process done haphazardly, that the holy beings, they investigated for many kalpas, that means many eons, which mind would be the most beneficial, not only for beings to achieve their own welfare, but to contribute to the welfare of others. And it was none other than this bodhicitta rooted in love and compassion.
아까서 체리도 덤바지래 마도 걸어서 니노진에 세대야돼 걸어서 세 주주 또치 주주서 세 여가 가르래 누가 가르래 강에 단단 니가 강에 저게 가르래 강에 좋아해 봐 저게 가르래 대시 단단히 대시 저게 가르래 대시 타도 좋아해 봐 저게 세 가르래 또치 뭐뭐 지네 걸어서 체리 타 센지 체리 타시 마지래 마다 가제 So
also we understand that they didn't say this haphazardly, and I also say that these holy beings had a very scientific approach to investigating the different kinds of minds. So this means that through their powers of observation for a very long time they investigated what types of minds are beneficial, what types of minds are not beneficial, what are the unwholesome minds that lead to temporary problems, what are the unwholesome minds that lead to ultimate problems. Similarly, what are the wholesome minds that we can develop for temporary happiness, and what types of minds do we need to develop for ultimate happiness? And so this is a process that they engaged with through the power of observation very scientifically for a long period of time.
너는 제메시 손으시 대조 대란이도 토바시에서 지 10만이 되고 소소도 소소가 너무 기보만 봐. 기보차야. 좋아? 센제지에 다도 તને બટો સાલ તને દેશી દેવા કિવો ગલો ઠીતો કરે તને સોસોલ સે ટેમ્બોચી યોના.
So then the last two lines of this verse go something like this. For by it the limitless masses of beings will quickly attain the state of supreme bliss. So that means that if one develops these minds, not only is it something that brings benefit to one's own life and to one's close family members, the people directly connected to oneself, but that when one develops these minds, it is able to contribute to the happiness, to the bliss of thousands, millions, uncountable beings.
어tal 요사시부 덤버서 쓴거 아래 하고서라 나로서 빼나 소속은 소속은 너무 기본다고 기본차야게 되는데 던도서 이나요 메시지를 걸었다 시에 도고 와스 나도 매일 내가 매일 다 드리때야 뭐 벌써 봐지요는 코라 쳐봐 해야 돼요 알리 치게 제가 심어도 되게 되잖아요 메시지를 이나요 코라 만다와지 그거 하마도 다가서 쿠바니 이셔서 시에 갈라 심어서 시에 돼서 니 기본을 던도서 간이야 보서 그지 간도 통근디 와스.
So when we speak about this, it's very important to understand the universality here, that one is cultivating these minds to bring happiness for all beings. Because if we think about working to achieve the happiness of our family members or people that are close to us, people that we like, that's not something all of that significant, because even if you look at beings in the animal realm, for example, they take care of their family members, of their children. And so just working for the happiness of the peoples close to oneself, this is not a particularly Dharma orientation. But actually, we have to think that we want to be different from those animals with a broader outlook rather than just aiming at securing a nice house, securing comfortable living conditions, and so forth for those who are close to us.
오다 던로도 많이 여와셔야 돼요. 메시지를 쏘는 또 대시돼야 이나요. 오다 가로서 레바자 친구들이 비도고 여보지가 이자 가지 터터 다 생제 요즘 마시나요. 매요조 좀벌리 매요조를 좀바도 이제 시야시나 요 멀리디게 된다 치모시코로 인제들 야르마도 예
So as human beings, what we want to do is we want to live up to our potential. We want to live up to the potential of this vast mind that we have. And so we want to be different from the animals in that when we develop a feeling of connectedness, when we develop love and compassion, it is not just for those close to us. It is compassion for all the human beings we encounter, indeed for all of the sentient beings we encounter. And this is the way to really maximize that potential that we have as a human being. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a shame if we are not that different from an animal.
오다 니야 노지데레 아니 소소를 끼고 그래 소소 놈이 니엘 끼고 그요 아래 오다 디 토라 때때서 자체를 돈내라 어데 매요조 여 말이 야와메바 매요조 하고서라 생제 요조 드니 자체를 로도서나 쇼바도 니지 세타 할 레비체 토몰 로에요 아래 숨요 아래.
So, of course, here I'm not stating that one doesn't need to look after the happiness of one's family members and those close to us. Of course, we should fulfill our responsibilities to try and do that. But I'm asking that you make your outlook just a little bit vaster. Expand that care, that love and compassion to all of the human beings you meet, regardless of what their background is, what their race is, and so forth. Try to develop that love and compassion for all human beings, and then gradually also try to extend that love and compassion to all sentient beings.
오다 세계 예대가 쇼텔 코로 예대 만다와치 드니지디 와스 할 레비 자체를 가지 돈아요 또 더야지. 단데 저도 콘트로도 드니이나 코로 체지마도 미 코로 체지 요아레스. 코로 사사데 이나요 무자타 가시 요초로 와스. 하고서라 대마도 매요조가 코로사기사 다시 메시바다 와치레도 코로 메일 체지요.
And here we can see a difference in these two types of minds between unwholesome minds and positive mental qualities. As I've been talking about these positive mental qualities like love and compassion, the more kind of encompassing, the vaster we try to make them, the vaster and all-encompassing that love and compassion can become. You see that this is very different from unwholesome minds, such as attachment and anger. They sort of have their limit. If you take anger, for example, you couldn't possibly extend your anger to all human beings, to all sentient beings. That anger is just limited to a very small pocket of beings generally.
오다 쇼바도 니지 뇨레시비가로 손지 세다 코로프겠다 이네 뇨레시키나 하고 그러왔어. 대면에 쇼바도 니지 뇨레시비가 맞자토 튠토 미차소 가제 프레소 돈은 맞데레레라티네 소소를 셀프게 니파레 차바바마 노지 용기와레 다때 세르고 떼는 시자 토요아레 됐어.
So then this love and compassion, what we try to do is we try to extend it. We don't keep it in a limited way. We try to extend it to hundreds of beings, to thousands of beings, to all human beings, and to all beings in general. And what happens is, as we extend that circle of love and compassion wider and wider, we accumulate a positive potential on the base of every single being that we're developing that love and compassion for. And this allows us to accomplish something very powerful.
오다 디그 소소를 니바 가르치겠으나 여보 또 제시나 오다면 가시 전부 주주는 내가 누자 드니셔서 레비 누자 이세는 세주 줘야 지는 거요 알았어. 될다와 이나 소소 누자 내가 가는 제나요.
So why I share this here is because, some people are sensitive and they get discouraged, especially when they do something bad. They think I harmed those people, or I upset this person, or this group of people, for example. But if you compare the mistake you did, but you're a practitioner of love and compassion, and you're trying to develop that love and compassion for hundreds, thousands, and eventually limitless sentient beings, then the positive potential that you accumulate from all of those beings in your circle of love and compassion is going to be much vaster than any negativity you might accumulate in regards to a very small collection of beings.
보와시야 이늘에 마고비고가 첨보요바지 노아샤야 땡땡디와스.
So because the aim of love and compassion is so much vaster than those unwholesome minds, if you were to think of like the weight of the negative minds like anger and so forth, and the positive minds like love and compassion that you develop, then naturally you'll see that the weight of those positive things, of those wholesome things, is much greater.
하고서라와서 어다든지 진이소노 도야래. 드니 좀바도 니지 코로 때 코로 짜침보. 하고서라와 센저로리게 싸와 세한테 세 코로 오지 아버지를 때대요. 내 저도 군도도 가자도 다도 세나. 때 코로 코로스프게 때사 코로 말이 바이자. 하고서라와 노아에 이제 쪼지 되레스.
So similarly, love and compassion can be increased more and more. They have a limitless potential because they are rooted to the positive aspect of the mind, to the fact that our mind is pure luminosity. And then we extend those minds of love and compassion based upon that to all sentient beings. Whereas if we think of unwholesome minds such as anger, attachment, and so forth, they are based upon a fundamentally mistaken mind, that attitude of ignorance. So they don't have that same potential for vastness.
대하 레비 같이 뭐래 생각도 하고 그야 하고 살아왔어. 좀바도 니지 코로 때사 짜완다 어때 새로지게 해서 새비도 아버 아버지 이자 그로서부터는 여보쳐야 이제 전부요.
This is very important for us to understand that these positive mental qualities like love and compassion, they have as their basis, they have as their foundation this fundamental nature of the mind, which is pure luminosity.
오다 군도 조시빙 알아서 강에테 그세 강가로로 갈래 쉬르도 베드 매와서지 요바테 용지세 조지데 그로서 때사 세 조데 단저 말이 봐 세테 이자 데코로 메코로 말이 바래 누아스 근데 리피로 질레서는 갈래 고정하서로
So then, similarly, we understand that the reason that we can diminish and eventually get rid of anger and so forth is because their basis, their foundation, is a fundamentally mistaken mind. Their foundation is this mind of ignorance, which is an unknowingness. And we also know that similarly, even that root foundation of ignorance, that unknowingness, if we develop knowledge, if we develop wisdom, it can eventually be cleared away.
어따든지 지네 가비 원내라 소소소더니 세리바 다 간다스 타토나이 된다 세리바죠 토바시 땡데서 해야 해 세근도도 야보시나.
So therefore, if we understand how the mind works, we can proceed joyfully like a scientist of the mind when we are developing these qualities. It's like a science.
어따 디소이나 좀 벌레 내지 시기든지 이거 어따 수지 쩐데 됐으나 세리바시 And
so understanding these basic principles, when educated people today look at the teachings of the Buddha, for example, they say, actually, what is being taught here is like a fundamental science of the mind.
So therefore,
in this way, then proceed in your practice joyfully, understanding that the development of this mind will help you to bring happiness to yourself, happiness to others, happiness to all humans and all animals, and indeed all sentient beings.
소소로 빼는 것도 던로다 던로더니나 좀 뭐지게 와라와스 될까지 그게 자 전부터는 좀 뭐지게요나 된 노징이 마고반 세지 유조를 제토나 뭐 유조를 되는 제토나 간이 하고 차거리 손었더니 이거 빠더면 봐 네가 빠더면 봐 저기 같아요 벌써 들었지.
So then also Geshe just wanted to explain one more thing, which is that when you are approaching various sentient beings, for example animals that you have a natural liking towards and you are able to show them love and attention, think in this way: may I be able to develop a love and an empathy that extends to all animals, to all sentient beings. And when you build on what you already have, thinking in this way, then the wholesome karma, the virtuous karma that you accumulate, can be limitless.
Yeah,
So thank you very much. We'll end here.